What secrets of season 2 can you share so far?
Oh boy.
I'm so glad you asked her that. Go on, you're going right in with it.
I can share that we will meet the man in the high castle this season. So that's
I wish I'd heard
that's
about
significant.
that.
And we really will dig into the mythology surrounding the films as well, which is exciting. I think the other thing is, do any of you read Philip K. Dick? Are you familiar with the books?
Or need to. Haven't started, but need to.
Yeah.
Starting is a very good start. I'll tell you.
Start anywhere, start any place.
Yeah.
But he talks a lot about the nature of reality and twisting and folding reality in certain ways. And I think we're getting deeper into that also on the show. Without giving anything away, we'll definitely be going in that direction.
Well, that's kind of what we saw at the end of the first season with Tagami.
It is. That's exactly it. Yes. That's exactly it.
I was really curious where you were going to pick up the story for him because he was so shocked seeing this other world.
I know, and you're going to have to watch and find out.
What has the experience of adapting the novel been like for you, and how, thus far, has it been different for season 2 than season 1?
Well, I don't adapt the novel myself. I mean, just generally
the process,
how's it
yeah.
going? So, I mean, I'm always concerned mostly that it's spiritually fidelity. We have to have fidelity in spirit, not necessarily literally. If you know the novel, it is a very unusual kind of a narrative. With loosely connected characters, and there isn't any real drive in terms of the story structure. It's also very internal. The characters, you spend a lot of time reading about what people are thinking and feeling, and that's difficult. So we launched, last season, obviously, some characters were built in that aren't in the book. We did a little backstory on the characters that are from the book, so it was sort of like a prequel kind of a thing, a vibe at the beginning. And then going forward, this is more about really keeping that spirit alive of the book, because obviously if the series goes on, we're through the material in the book, aside from the Man in the High Castle. But that's really my main priority in all this. And every key person on the show feels very much the same way, and it's very, very important to all of them to get this right. So that is very reassuring to me that we're moving in the right direction.
I know that Frank Spotnitz had a big, huge, vast idea of what he wanted the story to be, and wasn't sure if he'd get the second season. How closely are you adhering to the idea that he pitched for this story?
Repeat the question again, because I didn't quite hear the first of it.
Frank Spotnitz, I know, had a big, huge, vast, and still specific idea of what he wanted from this adaptation when he pitched it. It was originally going to be a smaller series.
It was originally going to be 4 episodes, yes.
How closely are we adhering to his interpretation of the story?
Well, we did do the 4 episodes, obviously. And season 1 was his. And, we've, as you probably know, we went on hiatus and did some sort of back of the season narrative adjustments, story adjustments, and so it's slightly different. But I mean, he launched the show. He's so much of what we have, and so much of what's been built is him. So I appreciate him very, very much for what he did for the show.
Will there be a time jump from what we saw in season 1 to season 2?
That's a tricky question.
Should be. I don't know if I should answer.
There are multiple ways to answer
I'm
that
not
question.
sure I want to answer that, because it's a whole world of possibilities, and I will let that one go.
Well, like, for example, for Frank and Juliana, they were in a very precarious position in their lives. I mean, they were being hunted, and there was all these questions about what they may not have done that might have been against whatever government entity they were under. So are they still fearful of their lives, or are they assimilating back into their lives?
Well, we will pick up. I mean, we will answer some of those questions. We ended with multiple questions that need to be answered, so those will be answered. We're not, abandoning those threads that we began.
There's a lot in this season that I think is extremely surprising from the very beginning, and it kind of continues that way. So the further we go, the more surprising it gets. So in order not to ruin everything, we can't really answer those questions, even though I'd really like to, because it's really exciting, but I'm not allowed.
Well, your co-stars revealed quite to us that you guys' storylines don't intersect as much. We don't see Juliana and Joe's intersection of stories so much. They have their own stories. So it gives us the sense maybe Frank and Juliana have a very different path they're taking.
I'm going to wall up all of them. Yes, in a way, the stories are yes, we are sort of separated at the moment. And yet not. Again, this is Philip K. Dick, so we have to remember that there is a constant interweaving and connection that's bigger than just what we can touch and what's tangible. And so, separated physically, yes.
But not from the stories interacting.
Well, we can say
not emotionally. How about that?
They're exploring new places and spaces.
I really like the spaces and places. This is why I sit next to
Places and
you.
spaces.
So Alexa, what did you find most challenging in portraying Juliana in season 1, and what do you look forward to exploring, whatever you can share, in season 2 with her?
My goodness. The challenge in season 1, I think, was finding a balance, an emotional balance, because this is a woman living under an extremely low ceiling, and she's living under a regime and extreme oppression, things that, this group of women at this table don't know what that feels like. And so there's a level of numbness that comes with that. When you see so much tragedy and so much pain, you suffer through so many things begin to shift as far as your the barometer of emotions. So that was interesting, trying to maintain, I'm an extremely emotional person, so reining that in, because there are things that she couldn't react to the same way. A, B, C goes on and on, but that was an interesting dance. And now she's in a different place. She's evolved, she's ever changing. I think we all are ever changing as human beings, right? 10 years ago, you probably were a little bit different than you are today. And because our story takes place in such a short time, so much is happening so quickly. These people are evolving at rapid speed. It's warp time. And we're affected by every single step of the way. So looking forward to in season 2. We're in episode 7 at the moment. I absolutely love this show, and I haven't been a part of something so special in all of my 15 years of working, as far as the community that we have and the closeness, the relationships that we all have across the board are extraordinary. I feel blessed, so I look forward to all of it.
I know that you were a big fan of the book before landing the role, and in science fiction literature there aren't very many women who have iconic characters. I'm wondering what kind of responsibility do you feel taking on this role?
I feel a tremendous responsibility. Tremendous responsibility. I will say, with every role I play, it's my job, so I take it quite seriously. With this particular character, I know that we didn't have that many female characters that were coveted in this way, I think.
The most fully formed, certainly, of any of his characters is Juliana.
Yeah, and I think, the responsibility is tremendous, but mainly because I work with this incredible woman this is her family's legacy. This is her father's life's work. This is bigger than, a role in a novel. It's important, and I think also for her boys, for her sons to see these characters brought to life from a book that was written, by their grandfather. That's what I really take to heart more than anything else. Is doing that justice and hoping that should Philip K. Dick, which I firmly believe that he's well aware of what I'm doing, given his belief system. But to do right by him, I think is also at the forefront of the pressure. But it's good.
How can you not love her? See, she's so gracious, and
But I love this character really in a really profound way. So.
What do you think Juliana finds so intriguing about Joe?
Oh, well.
Just because, obviously she loves Frank, she says it all the time, but there's something that attracts her to Joe.
There's a lot of things. I think, there is this sort of fantasy land of being able to merge two men or three or five and creating the perfect male, specimen. I think in this case, both men have extraordinary qualities that she's drawn to. But I think one of the things that I talk about a lot is when we as human beings are put in really, serious circumstances, whether it be a tragedy or a loss or, a national disaster or any kind of severe life-altering experience, we bond. No matter what. I mean, if the six of us were thrown into a situation, we would become very, very close, very fast, out of survival and human instinct. And I think that they're put in a situation where they need each other. They don't necessarily know that, but there is this incredible connection that happens, and it's beyond an attraction or beyond all those things. I think that are the surface in our aesthetics. It's a powerful thing. It's about human connection. Yeah.
Do you think your character has a lot of regrets for her actions in the first season? No regrets?
No, I think she's in an extraordinary circumstance. She's a woman who's propelled into this entire experience based on a tremendous loss, and she does the best she can. I think she's also extremely intuitive, and I think that we explore this more as we go on through the show. That she has a higher instinct, and she has just a different way of being and way of processing things. That is Philip K. Dick. It's not your average dramatic, emotional processing, if you will.
I think season 2 will also make it clear that there shouldn't be any regret, right? That's around those decisions.
Yeah.
I can't give it away, but I think season 2 will change perceptions to a degree.
It certainly makes you think about things quite differently than
Absolutely.
One of the looming threats from season 1 was, of course, John Smith. He was starting to become more and more aware of Juliana's existence and the part that she was playing in all these different things. Is he going to continue to pose some sort of threat to her life?
See this big smile on my face?
I know, right? I mean, how it's just cheeky is it to just stay tuned? But it is everything that Juliana experiences in this season is a shock for sure. And all your questions are very valid.
Very much looking forward to seeing you get a chance to work with Rufus on screen.
Yeah,
that would be kind of fun.
That would be kind of fun.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Wouldn't that be so fun?
Oh,
Yeah, he's terrific.
I just thought of this. Does Juliana get her charm back?
Does she get her necklace back? That's a very good question.
Necklace. Magic necklace.
Imagine that necklace. At this stage, I can only say not yet. Not yet, but that's she doesn't have it back.
Can you talk about the conflict you think that Juliana feels being so close, well, not close, but the affection she feels for Mr. Tagami and Japanese culture in general, and being part of the resistance?
It's a great question.
It's a great question. I will clarify that she isn't part of the resistance, even though she is involved. I wouldn't consider her a resistance fighter at all. But she is involved, obviously, in that world. It's fascinating. She has a real respect for that world, and she grew up in that world. And so, in a sense, it's all she knows. And I think some people either choose to see the beauty in things, or they choose to absolutely shun it and ignore it. And I think she's such an open creature. She's really an open vessel in a lot of ways. And I think she does see the beauty in everything, in people, in circumstance. And there's an art, to the Japanese culture. There's a grace. There's a tremendous aesthetic value that I think she appreciates that on that level. And then I think spiritually, it gives her hope. I think that there's something beyond, and that there's a spirituality to the Japanese that the Westerners don't have. And I think she finds solace in that.
And to me, part of that connection you asked about the two characters together, it feels like a spiritual connection.
Absolutely, it's a spiritual.
There's something that goes beyond physical. love you two together. I mean, they love these two characters. I know my sons, their favorite scenes from last season are this they've told me. I mean, it's just, there is something very special about it, and I think, that's something,
That feeling you have when you meet someone and you feel like you've known them forever. It's that connection. It's inexplicable, but it's
soul
there.
connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
Will we see more of that in season 2? Will it be explored? Maybe not.
I'm gonna get fired.
I promise.
We are ever exploring.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, this season's pretty extraordinary in that way. We really do kind of get into places that I think really needed exploring in the first season, being that it's the beginning. The seed is sprouting, and then now suddenly we're starting to have a stalk and the leaf and flower, and we go from there. So.
But we want to see them together again.
Yeah, we do.
Fabulous chemistry there.